ladies and gentlemen, power is over. But that does not mean for one instant of a second that the fun is over. Without a doubt, you are here because the power is out. So stick around, because it's Power Out. Yeah, it's Power Out.
It is Sunday night. The National Wrestling Alliance has wrapped their second of two pay-per-views this weekend, concluding with NWA 73. You are tuning in for our live reaction to all things National Wrestling Alliance. This is Power Out on lovewrestling.ca. My name is Zach Ralph, and I am joined by an esteemed panel of guests who are going to help me react to tonight's broadcast. First, newer member to the Love Wrestling team, we have Bobby Munson joining us on the show. How you doing, friend?
I'm good. How's everyone else doing out there tonight? Hope everyone enjoyed the show too.
We're doing well. I got to read this sign that you got in the background, and I admittedly don't have my eyes in right now. So can you give us a transcription of what you got in the background there?
You bet. So right behind me, it says that I picked up food from a local restaurant. I tipped them the minimum amount. And why? Because I never was the NWA World Champion.
Very well said, friend. Also, kind of a newer member of the team. The Wordsmith is going to be taking over the helm at the Poetry of a Promo podcast, and he's making his Power Out debut. Wordsmith, thank you for joining us this evening.
You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you get what you need, and I think I am what this show needs. Happy to be here as usual. If, anywhere. It's been a long night.
Humble as always, friend. And last but not least, not part of the Love Wrestling team, but a valued return guest on Power Out, made a couple appearances. Happy to have him back. I'm not talking about my cat right now. I am talking about Mr. Tim Wood. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me. Really appreciate being here.
Yeah, glad to have you once again. I'm going to ask you to vamp for a bit because I'm fighting with my cat and getting him out of the screen. So then I'll get you out of solo mode. But the floor is yours.
Yeah, life is great. It was a great pay-per-view. Got my beautiful Bobby Eaton shirt on just to, be with the NWA flow, and looking forward to talking about it now.
Lots of respect for one of the NWA greats. And friends, we had a really good show to enjoy tonight. I'm going to shout out a couple people who are joining us in the comment section. Hope 73 was as good as Empower seems to have been. Man, Empower set a very high bar, and NWA 73, they did a good show. Taste is subjective. For me, they didn't quite hit there, but we're going to talk about it at length, certainly. The real sober Wordsmith is, I just enjoyed several beers with the Wordsmith, actually. And, the man can hold his alcohol. So I wouldn't be too worried about his tolerance. Wordsmith,
I can hold it in my left hand. I can hold it in my right hand. And right now, I am holding it in my belly, nice and warm inside.
Absolutely. And yes, glad to see so many friendly faces and even Ticket, because again, he is not a friendly face. Friends, NWA 73, they had a lot of expectations built into this event by nature of it being an anniversary show. And, we're going to dive into this. Show of hands, who caught the pre-show this evening?
Most of it.
Okay.
Well, I missed that part.
Totally fair. We said this last night on Power Out with Ry Levy and Astrid. They didn't do a great job about promoting these the pre-shows. I didn't even know about yesterday's, and the only reason I knew about tonight's was because I knew that I missed yesterday's. So we'll gloss over this. We'll talk about it quick. Kicks off with Jack Stane with May Valentine. He says it was his choice not to wrestle tonight. He reminds everyone of his accolades, which includes NWA champion. He's pulling for his tag team partner Crimson tonight and wishes him the same single success that Jack Stane himself has celebrated in his storied career. Any takeaways? I will defer to Tim and to Wordsmith. Bobby, please pop in if you have anything on this, but I do know you missed the pre-show. Wordsmith, I turn to you first.
I did like the vest. I liked the snake skin and the bullets. Man of my own taste. Little bit clashing with the plaid underneath. I believe we discussed that at length at the time. Other than that, I will leave my comments for later in the show about what transpires later. But
We'll indeed have to revisit Mr. Dane. Tim Wood.
Yeah, I'm with the Wordsmith. There's probably some stuff that we should come back on, and maybe some things on this card that should have been on that pre-show. But
no.
yes,
Yeah.
No, for real. But, straightforward stuff to start off that pre-show.
Absolutely. And you go from a straightforward promo to a straightforward 6-woman tag team match. We have the Hex making their first appearance as NWA Women's Tag Team Champions, tagging with Lady Frost to take on Taryn Terrell, Genocide, and Paolo Blaze. Taryn's team does a great job cutting the ring in half and neutralizing the tag team champions. All the while, Lady Frost is not very interested in tagging herself into the contest. Eventually, the Hex gets the advantage. They hit that kick-ass AK-47 / running soccer kick. Beautiful tandem move. This allows Lady Frost to finally tag herself in, much to the chagrin of Marty Bell. She hits a beautiful moonsault, and she picks up the win for her team. Really set the pace nicely. Unfortunately, the crowd wasn't very much into it, but I enjoyed what I saw. Tim, what did you take away from this?
Yeah, I liked it too. It was nice to see Lady Frost actually pin somebody in the NWA. I think she's a great talent and hopefully gets more of the spotlight in the future. But all in all, I thought it was pretty solid. Nice to see the new champs and the new titles that I haven't gotten a good look at yet. So don't know who made them, but I'll figure that one out in short order.
Has the NWA Women's Championship, the Tag Team Championship, like of yesteryear, made its way into your history books as of yet?
Yeah, I actually just upgraded it, like an Instagram snippet that I did within the last couple of days. I did it a year and a half ago, so it's up there on my Instagram page right now.
Beautiful, beautiful. Wordsmith, the 6-women's tag. What did you take away from this?
Thought it was fun. I again had not seen quite a few of these ladies in the contest before. That beautiful finishing maneuver. Speechless, like absolutely magnificent. So I will be watching Lady Frost and probably being more impressed than I am right now. Look forward to it.
Absolutely. Quick shout out from Mr. Parrish in the comments. Taryn, a proud Saints fan. Who dat double T? I'm sure that's a lot of callbacks that I'm not quite familiar with, but I'm all for celebrating Taryn Terrell. So we're going to go with it. Who dat double T? We close off the pre-show with a singles match between PJ Masks. Sorry, can you tell I have kids? PJ Hawks and Colby Carino. Budding rivalry. This has been blooming on NWA Power for very recent weeks. It finally boiled over. 2 second-generation talents trying to one-up one another. Some very nice technical work in this match. Finish comes with a solid back and forth, inevitably with PJ locking Colby in a kneeling cloverleaf tap out for the finish. This match kind of speaks to a larger issue about NWA. Like I said, this match has the story. They've been building this for weeks. It had a place on the main card, but NWA has this tendency of, rather than giving you the card piecemeal, they just throw the card all at you at once. Like they announce it all at once, and it doesn't unravel. It doesn't unravel in a pleasing setting. This could have been on the main card, but alas, it was on the pre-show. I'm going to turn to Tim. What do you think of this?
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought this should have been on the show. There was this twisting senton that he did from a standing position at the end, Colby. I didn't know he had it in him. I like Colby. I was a huge fan of his dad, so it's nice to see him, coming into his own. I don't think anybody does matchups for young talent like this to give people a view as to what the stars of tomorrow or right now, as well as the NWA does. So it was nice. It was a good finish.
Right on. Wordsmith, what do you think of this one?
I believe I'll keep it simple. as I try to sometimes. And I remember saying this to you as this match was going on, with all the maneuvers and all those things. This match made my neck hurt at several moments, and I was just like, "This is wrestling, and this should make you feel kind of uncomfortable at the moment." But the whole match was really well done. I've never seen either of these two before, as I will be saying several times tonight, I'm sure. But very impressive. Look forward to seeing more in the future.
Bobby, I know I probably should have deferred to you at the beginning of this segment, because while you didn't catch the pre-show, you have been following NWA Power, so you have caught this rivalry between Carino and PJ Hawks, I assume. Anyway, did you have any takeaway, like, going into this match? At least, did you have any kind of anticipation from, even with a lack of announcement for the match itself?
I'm just disappointed I missed it at this point now. It seems like this should have replaced at least 1 or 2 matches on the main card itself now, and now I got to go back and watch some more wrestling tonight before going to bed, so got some more to look forward to.
We once the reaction begins, we'll afford you the time to do so, and you'll have to come back to the stream and let us know what you think about the pre-show. A couple more people popping into the comments. Another Power Out regular, Josiah McDonald of One Wrestling. Twas a fun show tonight. Yes, it was. It was a very good show tonight. And he also weighs in that Colby Carino has gotten very good over the last year or so. I couldn't agree more. I am not very familiar with Carino before his work here in the NWA, but he's a blossoming character, and he's like certainly one to watch. He's reminding me a lot of when I saw Ricky Starks in the earlier seasons of NWA Power. He's kind of like the blue chipper. I look forward to what he's going to be doing down the line. Yes, thank you for correcting me. I'm sorry, WR Central Josiah. I am working on the spot right now. I'm firing on several cylinders at once. But thank you for the correction there. Wrestling Observer's own Josiah McDonald joining us in the chat room. So we move on to the card. We move on to the main show, in fact, and this kicks off with, this was like one of my favorite video packages of all time, just by virtue of it was narrated by John Goodman. He's narrating a stellar package of modern talents and legendary NWA performers spilling their guts on what they love about wrestling and how that really has roots in the NWA. We're talking about a video package. You can only say so much, but I'm going to turn to Bobby for the reaction to the package.
The package was great. I mean, come on, it's John Goodman talking over a video of the NWA, the classic stuff, building up the new stuff that we're going to see tonight. I mean, his voice does just wonders and adds another level of stardom that this card already had coming into it. I loved this package. It was a great way to kick off this show and got me very excited for what we were about to see.
Absolutely. Tim?
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way. That's goosebumps. It was a great opening for this pay-per-view.
Absolutely. And Wordsmith, do you have any final words for John Goodman, for Sully, forget his last name in Monsters Inc., so I'm on the spot and I'm just ruining the moment. Do you have any thoughts on the moment itself?
It's all right. I'll save it. The passion, the dedication, the delivery on this opening package was absolutely stunning. I cheated and I watched it yesterday because I found it on YouTube and I thought, good grief, this is fun. And then watching it before a pay-per-view was like, no, John Goodman, you need to work absolutely more with wrestling. Hearing him say wrestling at the Chase, goosebumps.
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
Yeah, he brought a lot of gravitas to that particular package, and couldn't agree more.
It was good, man.
I see what you did there, and it was very well eloquent.
I just figured it out. It's okay.
It's like you are a real wordsmith, after all. Before we talk more Power Out, we should talk about Quizplex happening this Thursday. It's going to be a championship game. Past winners are going to be coming back for head-to-head pro wrestling trivia action Thursday on Love Wrestling. I will, of course, be hosting. Ed Fries will be taking on Josiah McDonald, so I'm hoping to see a little trash talk in the comments. I see like one of you is on YouTube, one of you is on Twitch, so maybe you should get on the same page so I'm not like being the middle messenger between you guys for the rest of the evening, because I got NWA to talk. And we move on to the first match of the main card. We have the Brawl in the Lou. Tim Storm versus Crimson versus Strictly Business's Own. Match is like physical from the get-go because before the bell even rings, Jax Dane, he comes out, he jumps Crimson before the bell, driving him through a ladder. This allows Tom Latimer to take out Tim Storm with a chair. Storm recovers. The match gets very physical. You know, we got ladders, we got trash cans, we got guardrails. Latimer hits a damn swanton bomb off of the ladder through the Tim Storm and the guardrail. Big shades of Jeff Hardy. This allows Crimson to recuperate. He comes back. We essentially get a bit of a revolving door situation between 3 different one-on-one matches, but it all culminates with Tim Storm hitting the perfect storm on Crimson for the win. Man, this got the crowd hot. You didn't expect NWA to kick off the show with a hardcore match, at least I didn't. Wordsmith, I'm going to turn to you to kick this off.
What a belter of an opening contest. Wordsmith in the house. You're welcome. This match, the only comment that I will say negative about it, the name. Other than that, loved it. Need I remind you, as we move on throughout the rest of the show, there was a murder, and then the murdered man came back and did commentary for most of the show. So thought that was great. But yeah, my moment of the match was definitely the belts and the ridiculous spots that should not have been done in such a small space, because I legitimately thought Tim Storm was dead. Yeah, because I thought he hit that guardrail for a couple of seconds. I was like, he's not moving. He's dead. It's good. Yeah. It's not.
Yeah. Thankfully, he survives to tell the tale. He survives to tell the rest of the tale of the evening, in fact. Tim, your takeaway of this one?
Part of the reason it was maybe match of the night for that crowd in the room was like can Tim Storm be any over than he is in the NWA? He's the babyface's babyface. He's wearing those bionic boots that Dusty used to wear in Magnum back in the day. I've never noticed that he wore those before, so that might have been new tonight. I always think Tom Latimer's the most underused guy in the NWA. He's an incredible performer. The Jax Dane bit at the beginning of there, I wrote down, finally Jax Dane a beast. Like, this guy looks the part, and he hasn't been given that role for a really, really long time. That ladder spot was unreal. The NWA needs replays. You got to have replays. Yeah. Really, really liked the match.
Bobby, I can finally defer to you for a match. So the floor is yours.
First of all, back to the name. When I first heard this one announced, being that I come from an English background, I'm thinking they're having a fight in the toilet or something like that. Because the loo back in the UK that's the bathroom, but not what it was in the end. And yeah, it got the crowd hot. It really did. Usually these triple threat matches or multi-man matches tend to become a bit of a cluster as they go along. This one was a beautiful cluster in a sense. I guess there was those spots that shouldn't have really been happening that were happening. Tim Storm literally just about being murdered in this one, and then fighting his way back for victory and to come out and do the rest of the commentary for the evening. I mean, kudos to them. They really got the crowd pumping. I got pumped up for it. I loved it. This was good.
100%, friend. It was really nice to see Tim Storm have this moment in the chase because, Tim Storm, he's an aged competitor himself, but he's also a callback. He could have thrived in the same era that Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Harley Race all thrived in. I think he would have been great in that era. And again, having this big moment here at the chase was it was a bit of a time capsule, sending Tim Storm back in time so he can have his big moment at the chase. I want to shout out a couple comments who are joining us here in the chat. Rye Levy, who joined me on last night's Power Out for the EMPOWERRR reaction. Tim Storm is incredible. 56 years old, taking bumps like that table, working a long match. You see Goldberg by comparison, and at 54 is winded after 2 to 3 minutes. Man, I got all the time in the world to trash talk Goldberg. The guy was complaining because people were mean to him on social media when he couldn't hit that jackhammer on The Undertaker. He's asking people to grade him on a curve, and I don't have time for that. I'm sorry, Goldberg. You were a big part of my childhood, but that time is done. More Tim Storm love was astonishing in that match. Thank you, Josiah. He is the best babyface, and he's a strong contender for NWA's top babyface. Absolutely. Seems I need to find this match. Please do, Mr. Ed. I would love to hear what you have to say about the match once you chase it down. And yeah, I really like Jax Dane. This would be a good heel foil for Murdoch down the line, if you ask me. Yeah, Murdoch's going to be looking for foils, and I think Jax Dane might be that guy. But one thing, the big takeaway here is NWA's tag team division is now one less team short. We can only say so much about such a void. But what's your take on the tag team division right now, Bobby?
I like where the tag team division's going, especially, I mean, we'll get into that a little bit later on this talk here too, but there's a lot to be said about great tag teams out there that are sticking together, doing great teamwork, utilizing cutting off the ring and stuff like that. And I see a lot of healthy things coming from the tag team division, especially across the platforms that are outside of, I guess, the big companies nowadays. NWA being a great example of how tag team wrestling can be done properly in a modern era.
Absolutely. Wordsmith, I defer to you.
Can I just reiterate exactly what Bobby just said?
By all means.
And not take up any more time?
That's fair.
One wordsmith to another, fantastically said.
Mr. Tim.
Well, I don't know that I can follow that now, but I will say that if any league craves FTR, it's the NWA right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
man.
That's how you follow that,
please.
by the way.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I am only just like putting all the positive energy out in the universe that Cash Wheeler can heal up his arm, and if I get to continue to see FTR wrestle beyond that, that is merely a bonus. But yeah, FTR would fit the NWA like a glove, and I would very much like to see that. Yeah, here we go. We're already at the forbidden door comments. I wouldn't be shocked. This is Josiah, of course. If FTR crosses through the forbidden door to the NWA soon enough, and I would be very happy to see that. Hoping Cash Wheeler can remain healthy. We are moving on to the second contest of the main card. We have Mickie James versus Kylie Rae. I've been looking forward to this one since it has been announced. Kylie starts off like a starstruck fan, kind of reminiscent of when Mickie James had started with her run with Trish Stratus, but far less adult. It kicks off with a very aggressive collar and elbow tie-up to defining a slower pace at the start. This also has the storyline of the veteran versus the talented rookie contrast. Really great back and forth, but Mickie is able to pick up the win with the Mickie DDT. After the match, she is jumped by Deonna Purrazzo, and Kylie Rae makes the save, helping Mickie out of the ring. Man, this leaves us a lot of good things to look forward to, but before we get to that, let's talk about the match itself. Tim.
I thought it was a great way to follow the hardcore match. Like it was an excellent match in itself. I really like Kylie Rae, and I forgot.
Who doesn't?
Yeah,
she's great.
I had forgotten how good Mickie James was and still is. It's a little stuff in that match too that Joe Galli called it a schoolgirl, and I thought that was amazing. So good for him. The one thing I hate to point out any negatives when we do these things. I think that's so easy. If you're going to attack someone in a mask, why would you pull it off yourself? Why don't you just come out? I don't know. It seems like something that you could probably book to have someone else that pull off for you. But anyway, otherwise, it was a pretty good match. I enjoyed it.
Why would you wear a disguise? Why would you?
Well, you know what, Wordsmith, you can vouch for this. I turned to you, and for a second, I'm like, is that Trish? Is that Trish Stratus making an NWA debut? But I'm more than happy to see Deonna Purrazzo, especially with Mickie James, Deonna Purrazzo contest certainly down the line. Bobby, your takeaway.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't understand the masking at all. I mean, that part I could have done without, but the lead up of what we're going to get in the end here is really the tempting part of it all. I mean, Mickie James, first of all, I'm going to say it, one of the best in-ring women's performers of possibly all time, definitely ranks up there, and it was great to see her in this matchup. Kylie Rae is fantastic. Seeing a lot of her work and liking what I'm seeing there. This match ended up being very technical in many ways, and I liked watching that between these two. Great struggle between them. And yeah, and then again, what we're leading to with Deonna Purrazzo is just so incredibly tempting. This is going to be a great matchup that we're going to get.
Absolutely. Wordsmith, your thoughts on the match?
Again, really well put together. My favorite moment, and it's not part of the match, but it's after the unmasking, which I do agree with. Why? It's the fact that Deonna comes out and just wipes her feet. That to me is just like, no, this feud is going places right away because you mean nothing to me, and I'm going to prove it. After that match, to do that is just like, you suck. And I really want to see Mickey beat the crap out of you, and it'll be great. So yes, great match. Really looking forward to future and better things to come, I suppose.
I'll say this, Impact is doing a really great job at selling NWA programs right now. And I like to see that trend continue. So yeah, I want to actually pull up another comment from Josiah here. WWE made it very easy to forget how good Mickie James is, as they thought she was too old. Ridiculous, by the way. And I think everyone will agree. Crazy. She's awesome, and glad to see her there, and likely feuding with Deonna soon. Actually, one thing I do want to say before we leave this match, because we have a lot of matches to cover tonight, is, man, Mickie James seemed so at home working like this NWA-style match, working at a more methodical pace, thinking about what's happening next in the match itself, rather than, I'm not trying to like throw shade at WWE because they do a lot of wonderful things, but the matches that Mickie James was booked for was just a lot of like, let's get this match done. Let's get the spot, the finish done. This one, Mickie James was at home in the NWA. Loved seeing it. Loved seeing how good she, being reminded of how good she was. And yeah, Parrish, Mickie James is one of the best female wrestlers ever and of all time. If she's not on anyone's top 10 list, maybe top 20, please revise your lists. She's a one of a kind talent. We move on to the 6-man tag team match. We have the Pope along with Perro and Odinson taking on Clearwater, the Masked Man, and Austin Idol's client. It's been very well documented about how I feel about Austin Idol's client, and how difficult his presence in any given match makes me. It makes it a struggle to really enjoy the contest that he's in. But this is what I'll say about the match. Heels did a really good job of isolating the baby faces. Odinson did a great job selling. He was playing Ricky Morton to a T throughout the whole thing. Finish comes with the End looking for the Doomsday device, only to be thwarted by Black G's. Idol's client with a heart punch, allowing Scion, because the Masked Man has a name now, and this is the first time I've heard it. He tags himself in and picks up the win over Odinson. Again, I love 5 out of 6 of these wrestlers, and the one I don't like sucked the life out of the match for me. Let Pope move on. I'm going to quote the wordsmith on this. Pope deserves better. And that's as seamless as a transition as I can do to give the floor to the wordsmith.
I'll say it again for those of you that didn't believe that these words came out of my mouth, and I'll say it nice and slow. The Pope deserves better. Everyone in this match deserved somebody else. I loved the dynamic, except for somebody who really just, but personal opinions aside, everybody did great. I don't know why, but I seriously thought the guy at the end, Black G's, is that what his name is?
Correct.
I thought it was Black Jeans, but that's because I've never seen you before.
His jeans were blue. His jeans were blue, sir.
Well, I heard Black Jeans, and I was like, well, then he's not wearing the right outfit. So that's my one gripe, and I was wrong. I admit it. I'm man enough. Was it in this match that we saw the clinking of glasses that were actually people in the power bomb, or was that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That is my favorite spot of the night, because that's just okay. So Yeah, that's how you smash two people together and just make it look like the most incredible thing ever.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. Bar none.
Absolutely. Bobby, I turn to you. The floor is yours.
Not much more to add here. This is one of the ones that I feel could have been on the pre-show. Again, it's a lot to do with what you guys are saying. The one person who sucks the life out of everything that he does just has been doing that his whole career, in my personal opinion. I've never been a fan. I'm not a fan of him here, and I would have rather seen him replaced by Austin Idol, personally.
I would have all the time in the world for a nostalgia run from Austin Idol. I don't know how limited he is physically at his age, but protect the guy in a 6-man tag team match. I'm on board. Tim, your takeaway here.
The gentleman that we're talking about mostly here sucks. He defines the word suck. His finisher sucks. His ability sucks. Everything sucks, and I don't see the attraction. Everyone else is fine. Not a big Pero guy. He used to be something more than I think he is now, but they're out there. I don't know why Jordan Clearwater gets punked out in the NWA so badly every step he takes. He's better elsewhere than he is here. Thank you, NWA, for changing the masked man's name. That was good. And there was that weird 6-man tag belt. We have one 6-man tag belt that's unofficial that what's his name? He who shall not be named melted down other great titles to make this title for a team of. What is this? This is silly.
Is that what happened? I was under, again, there wasn't a lot of focus given to that particular title. I was under the impression that might have been a nostalgic television championship or something to that effect.
I didn't see it up close. That's what Gally said. I
Okay.
saw it for a moment, and it looked like one of the old NWA 6-man tag team titles. But they said that, yes, he had collected some prestigious titles, and he melted them all down to make this one. Can we please move on from everything that he has ever touched ever?
May I close out this segment?
By all means.
Everyone in this match deserves better.
All but
and
one.
He looks like he's wearing nope, I'm not going to swear. Not going to swear because I'm classy. He looks like he's wearing a Christmas tree ornament around his neck. And there, I'm done because I don't want to get into that. Terrible. Love everybody else, though.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of talented people in that ring. I'm guessing Idol is going to address that. We're referring, of course, to the Melted Down Championship that Tyrus is now touting. But I didn't get it, says Josiah. And DePope being great after all this time is fantastic. Lots of love to spread to a lot of the talent involved in this match, all but one who is just a black hole of all things good and wonderful in the world of wrestling. The match concludes. We move on to the first championship match of the evening. We have Chris Adonis against a returning James Storm. Cowboy James Storm. Nice methodical pace dictating this match. Chris Adonis controls the match, making Storm earn his offense, culminating with a huge Frankensteiner of all things, hitting the Eye of the Storm, kick out of 2. Storm is able to hit the last call on Adonis while Adonis is enjoying a nice little cool beverage, but Adonis gets his foot on the ropes. Adonis rallies back. He counters by stacking Storm up on his shoulders and getting his own feet on the ropes to get that cheap 3 count. Pretty fun match. Bobby, floor is yours.
Yeah, fun match. I mean, it was, I think because so much of me was drained after the last one, it was really hard to get into this one, and there wasn't quite enough to really get me into it. And it's unfortunate because I really like Chris Adonis. I like James Storm a lot. This should have been a really well highlighted match, and it fell a little bit flat. I think it was good, but not great.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Wordsmith, what do you think of this one?
I will actually have to agree. I didn't like the finish. And I do agree with the call, and I'm not sure who made the call, but how do you catch one and not catch the other? They're both cheating. You're a referee. You should be paying attention. But, whatever. I guess the wordsmith is the only one that pays attention to the rules.
Thank you for your due diligence, Wordsmith.
Yeah.
Tim, before I turn to you, I do want to shout out a new voice in the chat room. Good day from Australia, fellas. What a heck of a pay-per-view. Hey, Sir Swingnut28, thank you for joining us this evening from the other side of the actual planet. Great to have you here. If you have any comments to weigh in on our discussion of tonight's NWA 73 pay-per-view, we are happy to have them. Oh, Tim, where'd you go? I assume Tim will be back with us shortly. Till then, we're just going to keep on gabbing. And that goes for everyone else who is joining us on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook, wherever you may be joining us from. Tim, welcome back.
Don't touch that button.
Please let us know how you feel about the matches that we are discussing as we go through the card. Tim, your take on James Storm versus Chris Adonis.
Yeah, I agree with these two gentlemen. It was a match for me. It wasn't quite I'm going to go get a drink match, but you got to have a lot of love for Chris Adonis and James Storm to begin with. I like them both, but Storm has amazing music, by the way. That old Johnny Cash, God's Gonna Cut You Down intro is amazing. I thought Adonis with his weird Road Warrior light football pad was strange. Not sure what that's all about, but
I thought it was He-Man the whole time.
Yeah, that's a good
I
word.
thought it was He-Man, but no, I think it's a combination of both because they got confused.
I thought it was too long. I thought the ending was probably the right ending, I guess. But what really kind of got to me about it is that anything that seems to have happened with the national title and then in the NWA in the last year and a bit seems to have been done wrong, and I don't know the value of the belt anymore. I don't know that it helps it by having James Storm come back and just automatically get a title shot, not having done any work. So it was a match. It happened. I guess I enjoyed it. That's about it.
It was a match, and it happened.
Yeah.
There is a stellar review if I have ever heard any.
There was two people, and they were in a wrestling ring on a show.
I will say that Joe Galley did try to cover the tracks about James Storm kind of returning and having this championship opportunity handed to him. He said something to the effect of he lost the title to Colt Cabana, yesteryear, 1 or 2 years ago or so, and he never really got his rematch or something to that effect. They tried to cover the tracks, and I'm always happy to see James Storm, so I'm not going to complain too much about this. I will say this: I have always loved James Storm's matches. I did not really expect this level of athleticism from him. Early on, he skins the cat. It's probably the cleanest skinning of the cat I have ever seen, and that Frankensteiner, what? James Storm doing a Frankensteiner, that was a gift. That was fun to see. Swingnut, yeah, absolutely. Two absolute workhorses. This match might have been hit and miss with some of us, but these two worked hard and they put on they put their best foot forward, I believe. And whether they meshed or not is certainly all subjective. But yeah, kudos to both absolute warriors. Excuse me. Sorry, just pinging messages here. But Swingnut actually brings up a good question. Is Joe Galley better than Cole or not? I think so. Dude, I love Joe Galley. He's just a wonderful talent as at the commentary booth. He's really good at the whole analysis of professional wrestling from the commentary booth. And he doesn't overuse emotion, I find. He really just waits for when it's time to get really emotionally invested, to get loud, to get really angry with the ref, to get really angry with the heels. He does it. He picks and chooses his moments like any good craftsman should. But yeah, Cole, I have a lot of respect for, but he has a very different job description from Mr. Joe Galley. Bobby, Cole or Galley?
Of course, Galley, when it comes down to calling professional wrestling, I mean, he breaks it down properly and stuff like that. And that's not necessarily fault of Michael Cole. Michael Cole plays well in the role that he's provided and everything like that. He was a sports broadcaster brought in to do professional wrestling, as where Joe Galley is a wrestling fan brought in to do professional wrestling. There's a big difference between the two, and it's seen in the work that's done here.
Mr. Wordsmith, Galley or Cole?
Who do you think?
Tell you what, leading to a big sweep.
Here's a cheap plug. Ready, folks? Get ready. I'll give you the answer tomorrow on Poetry of a Promo. If you listen to the first 5 minutes, you will hear exactly what I think of one of these men. Isn't Joe Galley. And yeah, I think Joe Galley is, you know what? No, go listen to the show. Then you'll find out. Poetry of a Promo. It's tomorrow.
Tim, are you making this, well, we're assuming a clean sweep barring what Mr. Wordsmith says tomorrow on Poetry of a Promo.
What's the WWE? I've never heard of it before. It's
You know,
Joe Gallo.
Isn't that the Panda place? No.
Right.
It's the Panda place, isn't it? Panda Express? No, moving on.
Well, on the subject of Mr. Joe Galley and on the subject of cheap plugs, I'd like to actually take the opportunity to plug an upcoming project from myself here at Love Wrestling. The Smark and Friends podcast is going to be migrating from the Two Finger Guns Club to Love Wrestling this very week. We're finally having our debut here on Love Wrestling. Have a lot of love for the Two Finger Guns Club. There wouldn't be a Smark and Friends podcast without them. But my first interview here on Love Wrestling will be with none other than Mr. Joe Galley. So here's a quick little clip from that upcoming interview in which we discuss the late and great Mr. Joseph Hudson. At risk of kind of like heading toward bringing this podcast at more of a somber tone, I feel it'd be remiss if we didn't take a moment to discuss Joseph Hudson, Josephus, the question mark. Again, not so much a question. I'm just wondering if you want to take a moment, express any thoughts you have on his absence in the National Wrestling Alliance.
Well, we feel it every day, and he comes up, and everyone's got a Josephus story. Everyone, because he was so enigmatic and he was so creative. And I remember one time, our first set of tapings at GPB Studios. Joseph was there, and for whatever reason, there was a piano in the hallway. It was probably for some other show that just needed a piano. And he sits down and he's just playing beautifully on this piano. And one of the other wrestlers, somebody came up and sat next to him. I can't remember who this was. I might be retelling their story, as a matter of fact. But nevertheless, they sat down and they said, Joseph, is there anything you can't do? And without missing a beat, he said, have a successful relationship, and just kept playing. And it was just, he was so quick and he was so funny. And he was such a good dude to be around. And we all miss him. I'm super glad that we have the Mongrovian flag hanging in the NWA arena, as it should. And he'll always be a part of our history. And there were so many great moments. I mean, if you take a look at that empty arena match, which was well before COVID, so we were way ahead of our time on that one.
Pioneers.
Between him and Tim Storm, those guys beat the crap out of each other in that empty arena. And so, there's so many big moments that he's always going to be a part of. And we carry him in our hearts, we carry him in our minds. And, and going forward, everything we do, we know he's looking down, and we know he's smiling. And
my full conversation with Mr. Joe Galley airs this Thursday on Love Wrestling. It'll be here on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and of course the podcast form, audio only. I had a great conversation with him. Of course, I interviewed him before tonight's events and before yesterday's events, and it's airing after. But I do ask about the energy in the NWA locker room leading up to these great events. And again, it was just great hearing stories about a cherished performer like Mr. Hudson, and his impact on the National Wrestling Alliance. And speaking of talents with legacies in the National Wrestling Alliance, we move on to this was a bit of a marquee thing. And even though it was a promo, we got Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, coming out, and this is just pure emotion from Ric. The promo, he attributes his celebrity status to his roots in the NWA. He thanks a lot of people in the NWA and outside, and he says he's happy. He says Vince McMahon is happy. He says Tony Khan is happy. He says Billy Corgan is happy. And he says he has a lot of love for professional wrestling, and he loves being free. He didn't so much cut a promo as he did cut a podcast. And I have all the respect for that. But your takeaway from this promo, Wordsmith, the floor is yours.
As someone who covers this material quite frequently here on lovewrestling.ca. Go watch the past episodes of Power True of a Promo. I must say, I think I've heard Ric Flair give the "I'm happy and this is the end" speech probably 75 times at this point. However, tonight was different. It felt way more honest and way more, no, this is where I cut my teeth and this is who you want to see. Did it bug me a little bit that he was mentioning other companies? Yeah, as a fan, it bugs me on a NWA pay-per-view to mention everybody else. But it's real. It was the honesty, and it was great. And you could see it. And I said this halfway through what felt like 35 years of this promo. Nobody cries like Ric Flair. And
Amen,
it just touches you right deep down in your heart. And it's just like, oh, this guy has had the most insane life, partially due to himself, partially due to life just being life in general. But my goodness, I felt every moment of it. And yes, I did find it a bit funny that it's the 19,000th time. I know the number keeps going up. It will. Deal with it. I loved it. And now that we're talking about it, I can admit, yes, Ric Flair is still amazing. And I want to see more retirement speeches. Was that bad? No. I do want the retirement podcast, though. It's going to be 7 months of just him talking about stuff he's done in his career.
Before I move on to Bobby, you've got people in accord with you, Wordsmith. I'm agreeing with Wordsmith already. It felt real, was awkward watch for making Vince, I think you mean mentioning Vincent Hunter. But hey, it was good for the NWA to have on pay-per-view tape. Absolutely. Thank you for weighing in, Swing Nut. Also, who is given more retirement? Ric Flair or Terry Funk, asks Ed. That could go back. That could go one way or the other, certainly.
Forever.
Bobby, you got the Ric Flair shout out on your back wall there. I'm going to defer to you. What's your takeaway on the Nature Boys send off here at the NWA?
It was just a classy moment all around. I mean, I can't really add much more to what Wordsmith already said because, again, I also agree with everything that's been said already. Ric Flair came out. He added a star-level quality to this NWA pay-per-view. And you know what? Hopefully it also got some extra eyes on it, in the media, the buzz of Ric Flair being a part of the pay-per-view, got some eyes on here so that maybe some of the young talent will be seen by some fans who remember that kind of classic style and remember the days of Ric Flair in his prime, being around Sweet Charlotte, the 16 pounds of gold. It was a magical moment. It was everything I wanted it to be. I loved it. Great job.
Absolutely. Tim.
I also would have been bugged by the mentioning of other companies if we weren't in that really weird, really cool spot right now in wrestling where everybody's teaming with everybody else except for, WWE. And part of him bringing this home past I was the NWA champ was here. You can work anywhere. I can go to AEW tomorrow. I was down in AAA last week. This is a place that you guys want to be. And it's where it all started. I thought it was great. It didn't go on forever. He didn't go off the rails. And those are two things that Flair sometimes does. You're looking at me like it didn't.
Yes.
It could have gone a lot longer.
Fair. Yes, it should have.
It should have.
The only thing is, where was his music? You can't have Flair without, Thus Spake Zarathustra, the 2001 theme coming through. Like, what was that? Anyway, otherwise, great promo. It's Flair. What can I say?
The only thing I will say, the jacket went down, but the elbow didn't get dropped. And I'm mad. You owe me another retirement, Rick. You owe me another retirement.
Perhaps down the road.
AEW next week, he's going to do it.
The jacket will be elbow dropped. Parrish weighing in. Something about Ric Flair in the NWA just feels right. And, we talk about FTR fitting. NWA like a glove, and that's of course a modern act. Ric Flair built that glove, so absolutely so happy to see Rick back in the NWA environment. This is the last thing I really want to say about the segment. I thought this was a really cool moment with the audience. You know, we are one of the worst things I think a lot of wrestling fans hate is the what chant. A lot of wrestlers use it masterfully. They like, especially Stone Cold, of course, is the originator. He'll list off things. People will throw in what's to punctuate it. For Rick, they threw in woos. He was listing off everyone he's faced. Undertaker, woo! Randy Orton, woo! Harley Race, woo! Great playing off with the crowd. Ric Flair is pro wrestling. Thank you, Josiah, for that one. Couldn't say it better myself. Great segment. Happy to see the Nature Boy, and I'd be happy to see Ric Flair making other appearances in the NWA in the future. But we'll see how that goes. We move on to the next match of the evening. We get the 12-man Battle Royal. We got Saul Renaro, Sam Ruda, Slice Boogie, Marshe Rocket, Jeremiah Plunkett, JTG, Luke Hawx, Captain Yuma, Mims, Jamie Stanley, Rush Freeman, and Heartthrob Jaden, and surprise mystery number 13, Jedias.
My boy. My boy.
A reveal.
Knew it was coming.
That reveal just sucked the wind out of the arena because everyone spent the rest of the match trying to figure out who this guy was and why he's a big deal other than Father James Mitchell accompanying him to the ring. Eventually, my fellow Twitter detectives finally figured it out. This was Murphy from TNA days teaming alongside Gunner, who is now known as Jackson Riker over on WWE. I don't want to say too much about this match because this match already took up a better part of my evening. It was too much. It was too long. It just went on. It just didn't stop. The wrong guy won. Jedias picked up the W when I thought JTG, this could have been a great shine for him, even with a lackluster match. But I'm going to defer to you guys because, man, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Tim.
Yeah. Too long. I didn't time it, but I think it went on for 11 years. So it's probably fairly accurate.
It's actually NWA 84 that we're reviewing on this particular evening.
Everything was telegraphed. He showed up and I went, he's vaguely familiar, but so he's going to win as the mystery 13th person. So that sucked everything out of all the air out of the room for me. Is he any like? They build him as he's a giant. I don't think he's any taller than like Rush Freeman, who, by the way, we haven't seen in like 3 years, and I immediately thought he's out first. This was a wasted opportunity to push guys like Boogie and look. I love Jeremiah Plunkett more than I like most of the people in this match. JTG probably should have won that one as far as I was concerned. Captain Yuma is hilarious, by the way. That guy is all about the facial expressions, but way too long, and just kind of junk. It was a 1-star event for me.
Yeah, 1 star is about all it earns for me as well. Bobby?
Yeah, it was a mess. You get 12 guys in there right off the hop. It's hard to follow in the first place. It took a long time, it seemed, to really kind of break it down to the kind of final guys in this whole thing. And yeah, the wrong guy won. I mean, there was real confusion over who this guy is. He picks up a win. It just he was boring. I mean, he's a big enough guy, but not that big the way they tried to sell it or anything like that. It just felt flat for me, kind of thing. It should have been JTG's win. He was red hot at the end there. It was starting to look good for him. I think it would have played out well to have that be the surprise to the whole thing, not having the obvious guy who gets his own solo entrance take the win. That really sucked everything out of it. Like Tim mentioned before there, it was bad.
It was bad. Wordsmith, before I defer to you, Swingnut would like to weigh in on your lovely locks. I thought Wordsmith's beautiful blonde hair was turning gray, but 11 years certainly explains it. With that, let us know what you thought about the match.
I had time to read War and Peace. Please go and listen to Poetry of a Promo. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Can't blame you, sir. I am more than happy to move on, and I thank you for cutting it short for this particular contest. Chris Parrish, one act I would love to see in NWA is Trent Seven. I think he would be a natural fit and a match for Trevor Murdoch. Please, dude, Trent Seven, man, not enough good can be said about him, because I feel like everyone who sees him is surprised at how good he is. And I feel like that's also pretty true for Trevor Murdoch, who you've juxtaposed Mr. Seven against. That would be a fun match. And if the Forbidden Door really blows open and the WWE gets their foot in, or if another set of unfortunate releases is to happen, if that match happened down the line, I would more than welcome it, and I would buy the pay-per-view that it's on. Following contest, Swingnut is asking about Poetry of a Promo. Want to do one more cheap plug, Mr. Wordsmith?
Tomorrow, Monday, August 30th. Had to check the date because I lost track of all space and time with this match. Yes, that happened. Stay on target. So tomorrow, Poetry of a Promo drops on lovewrestling.ca. Just head over to the site. Look it up in podcasts or videos. I don't know how we're putting it out. It's on the site. It's a fun show. I look at the history of words in wrestling. That's all I'm going to give you, and that's all you're getting.
And you do so masterfully, my friend. We move on to the NWA Women's Championship match between Camille and the Women's Invitational winner from last night's Empower event, Chelsea Green. Early exchange of pinfalls with both looking for a quick win. Power game wins Camille the advantage, putting Chelsea on the defense. Camille starts working Chelsea's broken wrist. Again, she's wearing that cast. That's a big target on her. Chelsea looks for the unprettier, but Camille counters with an arm lock to finish Chelsea off. Takeaways from this match, Bobby.
So this, first of all, I've got to say Camille working 2 matches back to back and doing such a great job was just awesome to see. She's a fantastic talent. This matchup was great. In fact, finally, the night picked back up when this match hit. These 2 women worked a great match, and the ending was done perfectly because Camille, focusing on the supposed broken wrist of Chelsea Green, builds sympathy for Chelsea Green moving forward, while at the same time making Camille more of a badass, looking fantastic, and continuing strong with the NWA Women's Championship. There's enough to be said for a return match further down the road if this one continues to build properly. Absolutely. Tim?
Yeah, hot mess, Chelsea Green. Great name, great athlete. You tweeted, Zach, something about if they could have had a face-to-face last night, that would have been something.
You know what? I'm actually going to credit Wordsmith, who I enjoyed last night's pay-per-view with as well. Like Chelsea kind of like just walked past Camille to end the show. I thought there could have been a showdown there.
Yeah,
but we're all smiling and happy, and you have to fight each other tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Tim, please.
Camille is improving at exponentially. It seems like every time we see her. I know that Green has had better matches than this, but she's playing a part here to make Camille continue to look strong. I thought they both did great, having done stuff the night before. There was a gut wrench suplex, and I thought something went wrong, and I thought she almost broke Chelsea's neck. By the way, I went. Yeah. Oh, that's bad. But the finish was good, like Bobby said. It worked the wrist, and I thought overall, it was a bit too long for me, but it was a good match overall.
Yeah, absolutely. Josiah weighs in. It was a good match, hurt by the last match, dying the death of killing the crowd. And to Bobby's point, I think they won back the crowd to the best of their abilities. Unfortunately, they weren't fully in, but they had, it was a bit of a Sisyphusian task to win back the crowd, and they did admirably, and they certainly got the crowd in, especially towards the finish. On the subject of Camille, Bobby Batito, I would like to see Camille versus Masha Slamovich. She had an absolute showing in the Battle Royal last night, and I would very much welcome that hard-hitting match between Camille and Masha. And we can only hope. A lot of comments are popping in. Josiah, I did like the story of Camille working the arm and getting the submission, learning from how Hirsch almost got her the night before. That's a very good point. A lot of the story from the night before spilled over into tonight's contest. I'm also a sucker for when a wrestler doesn't win with their finishing move or with a traditional move. So Camille winning with the submission, that was very cool. Tim, me too. Chelsea went for the left arm. Camille lifted to the right. Just like really intricate stuff. Wordsmith, I don't know if please forgive me. I got a lot of spinning plates here. Have I deferred to you on this contest?
No need. Everything's been said. I agree entirely. And I do. Well, the one thing I'll add is I do feel like they were at a little bit of a disadvantage considering the 73-year-long hiatus that NWA took in the middle of the show. But I think they got the crowd back, and I think it was great. I really had a hard time getting into the beginning of it. That's because the crowd was just either on their deathbed or just coming back from it. But yes, fantastic finish. Really enjoyed it. And I, as well, have to agree with our host for this evening. I am a bit of a sucker for non-massive finishing moves because it keeps it fresh. Because at the end of the day, wrestling is about outsmarting your opponent. It's not about big moves. Remember that, kids.
that running leg drop that Camille did to Green's chest, really good. Yeah.
Good stuff top to bottom of this match. One more comment from Bobby. I would like to see Bianca Corelli and NWA. Sir, I don't know if you've caught last night's NWA Empower, but Bianca Corelli had a great showing in the main event, the Battle Royal. Yeah, so, she's getting her footing in the NWA, and I agree with you. I'd like to see more of her in an NWA ring. And once more from Swingnut, in the words of Wayne, you guys rule. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us, Swingnut. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Josiah. Thank you, everyone who's joining us this evening. Please continue to weigh in on your thoughts of tonight's NWA 73 pay-per-view. Great show, and it's made better from comments like yours. Now, again, Wordsmith, you didn't have a lot to say on that last match, but you're going to have a lot to say about this coming contest because I know you were looking forward to it. Tag Team Championship match, La Rebellion versus Aaron Stevens and Junior Kratos. And, of course, surprise entrant, a surprise manager for La Rebellion, Conan Max Moon makes his appearance in the NWA ring. Champs with an early advantage until Conan involves himself into the match. This leaves Stevens to La Rebellion's devices. Good heat for La Rebellion until Stevens is able to finally get the hot tag to Kratos, who clears house back and forth until Stevens is able to fend off La Rebellion by himself. But a distraction from Max Moon leads to a low blow and the mark of the beast, leading to new tag team champions. Great match. No NWA Lucha rules, and it was really nice to see La Rebellion thrive without having to work, a style that they're more familiar with. They did really great in just like a straight up tag team match. Wordsmith.
Mecha Wolf on the entrance with that mask. Keep it on, the whole mask. It's the coolest goddamn thing in wrestling right now. The jaw opens. This is money. I want to buy one. The match was amazing. I love everybody in this match. Even Zach. Say it.
Max Moon.
Yeah. Thank you. I really enjoyed it, and nothing bad to say about it. Thoroughly entertained, and is part of the reason that I actually wanted to watch this pay-per-view. Besides the Ric Flair 75th anniversary retirement, it was great. Loved it.
I do want to say, Swingnut, that I have a lot of respect for K-Dog, but Max Moon is a different animal, and I'm sorry, but I will pick on Max Moon. If this gets over, I'm probably going to be in trouble if Conan ever catches wind of it, but I'm willing to live with these repercussions.
Please note that I never actually said anything in regarding to that old gimmick. I think keeping it 100 is the best podcast ever, and I have no problems. Love AAA. I think it's awesome. And your tag team is awesome.
They are a pretty awesome tag team. Tim Wood, tag team championship match. What'd you think?
Tag team wrestling is the best wrestling, by far my favorite. La Rebellion are exciting. They're interesting. They're fresh-faced and new. I like Kratos and Stevens, and they have an amazing dynamic of, Stevens just always getting pummeled and then making the hot Ricky Morton tag, and Kratos coming in to clean house. But I thought that now was the right time. It was the right decision to put the belts on La Rebellion. I thought at the end, when Conan cut his promo to the audience, that he forgot he was a heel, but it doesn't really matter because I think the message was amazing and very well received, and good for you guys. It was good all the way around.
Absolutely. Bobby.
Yeah, not a whole lot more to add to this. I mean, this to me was probably one of the show stealers of the entire night. This was tag team wrestling done perfectly. I loved every bit of it. La Rebellion, I've seen them a couple of times wrestle before. Really enjoyed their work, and I was glad to see this matchup. And yeah, great from all four guys. Got a great job doing a lot of the cutting off of the ring and waiting perfectly for that hot tag to come in, as Tim was mentioning there. Excellent job. Great finish. This was done perfectly. Loved it. And you know what? I'm going to the defense of Max Moon. Love that guy.
I feel like I've distracted from a great tag team match by throwing in this Max Moon gimmick, but we're just gonna have to live with that. We won't let it take away. That was a really great contest that we all enjoyed, and like Tim said, the tag team wrestling is best wrestling. That's what got me into wrestling in the first place. Day one, little Zach. Yeah, just great shit. Just great stuff. Oh, I've used our swear words, so no more swear words.
No swear.
And with that, we move on to the main event of the evening. We have Nick Aldis, defending the NWA Championship against Trevor Murdoch, who is putting his career on the line. Really great little highlight package, putting their story together. The match begins with Murdoch, before the bell, of course. Murdoch takes his time thanking everyone ringside before the bell, selling that this may very well be his last day. Hometown crowd is firmly behind Murdoch there at the Chase. Really nice reaction for both he and Nick Aldis. Match. Yeah, I keep almost saying match begins, but the match doesn't begin yet, because before the bell, we get a brawl on the outside to start it off. Trevor Murdoch and Nick Aldis are brawling through the crowd all the way to the stage of the Chase. Big spine buster on that hardwood stage. NWA officials, including Billy Corgan, are trying to get it under control, but it is bedlam. We finally get in the ring, and the bell rings, and they are on even keel. Physical match, lots of callbacks to NWA history. We get the Threz press. We get the figure four. We get the Flair bump. Good stuff throughout this match. Murdoch triggers a ref bump, which allows Aldis to hit a low blow. Big table spot with Aldis with a big elbow off the top, but he cannot put Murdoch away. The match continues. Trevor Murdoch is able to hit a Harley Race-styled pile driver, which leads to Murdoch hitting the big bulldog from the top, and finally capturing the NWA Championship. Murdoch and family are celebrating. Ric Flair's out there putting him over. Really great contest. Bobby, what do you think?
As far as emotional moments go, that ending was brilliant. The best part about this match, aside from how great the in-ring work was, is just how when a lot of the times when companies bill a loser leaves the company or retires their career type thing, it almost is a given that they are not going to lose in any capacity. That was not the case here, because Aldis has been billed as such a strong champion that it would have been just the perfect setting in front of a hometown crowd. Trevor Murdoch at that point in the career where you could actually believe maybe he would hang up the boots. So everything there was just brilliantly told. It unfolded brilliantly, and the ending was great. If anyone was going to dethrone Nick Aldis, I have zero problem with it being Trevor Murdoch.
Absolutely. Yeah, couldn't agree more. Wordsmith, what do you think?
Okay, here's the unpopular opinion. I didn't like the brawl at the beginning. However, they did turn it around and make it worth my while with a scintillatingly intriguing and captivating main event. And I got over the fact that I didn't like the brawl that didn't start the match. I thought it was great. Really enjoyed it. Couple things about the beginning, I'll let it go. It was a good match. I did actually feel halfway through that maybe this was the end of Murdoch, but keep it fresh, keep it fun.
I do, to a degree, agree with you about the brawl. I love the brawl itself, but once the brawl settled, the bell rang, they were like almost immediately on even keel, and like there was no advantage gained by Aldis, despite him like pretty much brutalizing Trevor Murdoch for a better part of that time. And like once the bell rang, it kind of didn't really mean all that much. But that's nitpicking. That's nitpicking for what I thought was a really good contest. Tim.
The brawl at the beginning actually served a purpose, which I didn't care for it at first either. Then I thought, I see where they're going with this. The refs are interfering. What is he called? Irish Pat Kenny is out here. That's what Aldis calls, what's his name? Diamond, right? And then Billy Corgan's out here so that he can go on Power, Aldis can now, and say everything was against me. Conspiracy Corgan was against me. Hashtag the fix is in. It gave him that vehicle to move forward with in the NWA. The spots were amazing. The old timey spots that you mentioned, Zach, the Flair spot, the figure four, the Thez press, the angle slam. I think I tweeted to you, Nick Aldis beats Trevor Murdoch anywhere, any day of the week. Just not in St. Louis when he's wearing a Harley jacket in front of his family. It was hard. It was Murdoch's night. Yeah, I could smell it coming. It was great. I don't know that the reign will be a long one, and I don't think it matters. It was the emotional payoff that we all wanted, most of us wanted, and I was happy with the result.
I agree with you. I don't think this is going to be a very long run for Trevor Murdoch. Maybe he'll surprise us. Maybe we're going to have some interesting creative ground to to dig into. But as it stands, we had a great show. We had a great moment and a great payoff for a very long story that was told between Nick Aldis and Trevor Murdoch. And, it paid dividends with a very wonderful championship match. I just want to shout out a couple more people who are joining us in the chat. Once again, Josiah, this was a great match. Josiah and I have been riffing about how excited we have been about this. We wanted this to happen, and we finally saw it, and it was just a wonderful contest. First time popping up in the chat this evening, connecting people through wrestling on Facebook. It was a great show. Could not agree more. Swingnut once again, big effing Trev. And immaculate psychology from Mr. Wordsmith. We had a lot of very interesting perspectives that are like kind of colliding about that brawl that kind of kicked everything off. But ultimately, I think we're all walking away with big smiles on our face. I don't know if personally for me, I'll weigh in first about like the whole show in general. It had the challenge of measuring up to EMPOWERRR, which was a very strong show. And unfortunately, like they had that sudden valley in the middle, that like bit of a black hole when it came to the battle royal. But like everything else, like this was a very strong card. I think everyone who performed should be very proud of the work that they did at the Chase for the first time in 37 years. And that goes for both shows this weekend, of course. Really just great stuff. Bobby, what do you think of the weekend, the show, final thoughts? Weigh in, friend.
I mean, yeah, EMPOWERRR was phenomenal, and it was going to be hard to live up to that. Everyone knew that from the get-go. This card was extremely strong. I liked it, albeit, of course, the things we didn't like about it, the stuff that sucked the life out of the middle of the card that we could have done without. Aside from that, the good totally outweighed the bad and cleared all the negative away. So I enjoyed myself. I had fun this weekend. NWA, rock on. Great job.
Absolutely. Tim.
It feels like the NWA with EMPOWERRR, which I missed. It was my anniversary. If they do it again next year, I'll miss it again. But I hear that it was amazing, and I kicked myself for not being part of it. But with that and with NWA 73, it feels like they're back for the first time since the lead up to the Crockett Cup. Way back, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago now. It really feels like they've hit their stride here. So good card. Really liked it, and big fan.
And Wordsmith, the floor is yours.
If wrestling was like this every day, I would watch it any way. Because at the end of this weekend, I can say, long live the NWA.
I am glad that I wrapped it up with you, because that was a beautiful flourish to bring us home, sir. Yeah, I couldn't be more happy with the event we watched, and I'm happy that you guys could be a part of our reaction show over NWA 73 here on Power Out. Before I let you guys go, I'm of course going to give you the time to let the audience know where to follow you on social media. Let us know all about your exciting projects, and everyone who's joining us on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. I won't read them out loud, but I'll start running them across the board. So hopefully we can build a bit of a Power Out community. Ooh, that sounds fun. And yeah, I'll just we'll start following each other. We'll get tight. We'll get tight and chummy on the old social media. Bobby, where can the audience follow you on social media?
So you can actually check me out on YouTube. I've got a podcast over there. It's called Ring Respect Radio that I do with my co-host Papa Smokes, talking about old school wrestling from the territory days, 60s, 70s, 80s. We drop one every couple of weeks or so check that out there. Also on the commentary team for Prairie Pro Wrestling that you can check out episodes of on YouTube as well. Hopefully we'll be getting back to live action again and doing that very soon. So yeah, check out those two things. And continue to watch Love Wrestling. I pop up here on a few of the streams now, and making this my home away from home.
You are going to be showing up on Power Out a little more often than not. That's my bold prediction, and that's my intent to invite you, Tim. Tim, of course, the belt biographer himself. Let us know what's going on.
Yeah, I do. I have an insane project where I am trying to write biographies, whether they're just small ones from information given or big, long ones for every NWA title ever created in NWA history. We've done about 50 of them so far. They're over on NWAgold.com. My Instagram is probably the biggest part of our social media platform, but I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. And most recently, I just ended up, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but I ended up giving away this TV title here in a giveaway. I have to announce that winner tomorrow, and I'm going to be doing the NWA Crown Belt World title starting in a week or two. So put that one up. I
didn't win, did I?
I actually don't have the draw, but probably not.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I will gracefully accept my defeat in a randomized draw. Yeah. Wordsmith, tell us all about Poetry of a Promo. Tell us where to follow you on ye old socials.
On ye old social media, you can follow my wonderful show at Poetry of a Promo on Twitter. Look us up on Facebook. I don't know how that stuff works. That's not my department. I am just the voice. I have minions to do that. It's not my territory. So, what's coming up tomorrow? What do I have coming up in the future? Tomorrow's episode is going to be cold. It's going to be downright chilly, you could say. Tomorrow on Poetry of Promo, we're going over Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm not going to tell you which one. Or what? I don't know. It's late. This is hard.
You are all the same.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah. Tired or not, you are a master of suspense. Friends, I thank you very much for joining us this evening on Power Out. You can, of course, follow me on Twitter at SmarkMouth, the name right down here. You can follow me on Instagram as well, but it's smark.mouth. You can also follow the Smark and Friends podcast on Twitter, Smark and Friends. Very easy to find with the search engine. Very easy. And yeah, that was tonight's Power Out, and that wraps up a crazy NWA weekend, and thank you for spending time with us at Love Wrestling for the NWA reaction. We're going to see you Tuesday, actually, because of course Power will be back, so a new episode of Power Out will be back. Oof. It's been a lot of Power Out in a couple days. It's a bit of an Iron Man stretch, but once again, thank you for joining me. I'm rambling, like like the Wordsmith said. It's tiring, and I'm a little rambly. Good night, everyone. Most graceful sign off ever.